Howdy, friends. Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's Real Estate Live from North Texas. Is now a good time to buy a home? Great question. A lot of stuff going on out there, and a lot of people have asked me this question over the last couple of weeks or so. Once we've seen what's going on in the economy and with the country, and so a lot of people ask me, is now a good time to buy or sell? So we're going to focus on, is now a good time to buy a home? So whether right now is a good time to buy a home or not largely depends on your personal situation. Okay, you got to take a good hard look at your financial situation and the current prices of homes in your area. So if we're talking about the Metroplex, we'll get to that in just a second. But the houses in the Metroplex continue to rise. They'll rise at a slower rate than they did last year, but they will continue to rise, as will interest rates. We're going to talk about that as well. But we got to take a look at the overall the microeconomic situation in the Metroplex, plus your personal financial situation, and now to determine whether now is a good time to buy or not. So interest rates are going up. Okay, I could lie to you and say they're not, but then I'd be lying. So interest rates are going up. Right. So for the first time in like 2 years, the Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates to help combat inflation that was brought about by the administration's fiscal policies. Okay. And so the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates to try to cool down the economy. That's good and bad. It's obviously then inflation could potentially be at a lower rate if these fiscal policies are then kind of tweaked. But then everybody's affected by higher interest rates, which means that gas prices will go up, trucking prices will go up, cost of goods and services, groceries will go up. So but the economy could slow down then and cool off, and inflation could then be reduced. The interest rates, however, are predicted by the end of the year to be no higher than about 5.5 or 5.75 or something like that by the end of the year. Those are still historically low compared to other interest rates that people have locked into. My first mortgage was back in 88 or 87 rather, and my interest rate was like 15% at the time. Right now, I then refinanced and eventually got it down to around 7 or something like that, and I was happy to get it. But interest rates, even at 5.75, 5.5 ish, etc., are still significantly lower than interest rates have been historically. Prices will continue to rise. Okay, now prices will expected to increase in 2022, but at a slower pace than they did in 21. Okay, and part of that is because your specific microeconomic area. So in our case, the Metroplex. Okay, and we still expect the influx of people to come into our area around 75 to 100,000 per year, which drives the cost of housing up, which drives the cost of which drives a housing shortage in our area, which then means that the price of houses goes up, and especially the lower end houses. So the first time home buyer houses, they're few and far between. Okay, but prices will continue to go up at a slower rate. It's still a seller's market. Okay, this year the number of houses for sale are likely to increase. Something interesting that people don't realize, that last year the National Association of Realtors reported that last year, and specifically in our area, the number of transactions was at its highest level ever. Okay, and we're expecting more sales and more listings, etc., this year than compared to last year. So we're likely to break another record this year. Now, we didn't see a whole lot of houses on the market this year. Okay, last year, and that's because of the silent market, you may want to call it, where people are saying to a realtor, sell my home, but don't advertise it. We're getting that a lot now. And so then what we have to do as realtors, we have to tap into our network to try to say, hey, you wanted to move to this area 2 years ago. I've got this house for sale. Are you interested? Okay. In the past few years, homes have gone very, very quickly and have gone above asking price. So it's good to be tied in with a with an agent who's tied into your specific area, so that they can kind of put their ear to the ground and they can understand what's for sale, what's coming up, all that kind of jazz, so that you don't, so basically you don't miss out. What we're also finding is houses don't last more than about a week. Okay, so what a realtor will do is list the house on Wednesday or Thursday. By Monday or Tuesday, they're awarding a winner. Okay, of the bidding process. Why should you buy a home in 22? So despite the pessimism out there about the economy, something about the country, it's still a great time to buy a house. However, you have to move quickly, okay, and you have to understand the market conditions in your area. So market conditions in the Metroplex are phenomenal. Okay, we continue to grow, people continue to come in, but there continues to be this sort of a housing shortage in the area. And so you have to kind of tap in, you have to get rid of with a good realtor who can help you kind of maneuver through he can help you maneuver through the market. I hope that was helpful. Next week, we're going to talk to Catherine Johnston from Travel Creations. She's a travel agent right here in the Metroplex. Actually, she's in Denton. We'll talk to her about her and her business and how she can help you find those dream vacations. This is Steve DePoe. I'm with the Rose Realty team. I'm going to bounce.